Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another day of learning. Your teachers today are Sylvia and Elisa. Get ready for another fun episode full of learning.
Hello, boys and girls. We are so glad you're here today. My name is Sylvia.
And my name is Elisa. Today is a very special day because we have a very special guest joining us.
I wonder who it could be. Elisa, can you give me some clues? And let's see if I can guess who it is.
That sounds fun. Clue number 1, he is gray.
Oh, it must be an animal. Is it Dash the dog?
No, it's not Dash the dog. Clue number 2, he has a tail.
Oh, I know. Is it Clyde the cat?
No, it's not Clyde the cat. Clue number 3, he loves cheese.
Oh, is it Rattenborough the rat?
Oh, let's find out. Oh, mystery guest, come on out.
Ta-da! Hello, boys and girls. Do you remember me? My name is Rattenborough, and I'm so excited to see you all again. Today, we are going to be talking about different types of animals.
I love animals. My favorite animal is a dog. Rattenborough, what is your favorite animal?
Well, a rat, of course. So, Rattenborough, what have you been up to since we saw you last? I have been busy traveling and learning all about animals.
Wow, that sounds like fun. Would you tell us what you have learned about animals?
I would love to. Before we begin, first, let's take a look at some vocabulary words that we are going to see in our story today.
Our first word is animal. An animal is a living thing that is not a plant.
Like you, Rattenborough, you are an animal.
Our second word is habitat. A habitat is a place where plants and animals live and grow.
Rattenborough, could you give us a sentence using the word habitat? The natural habitat of a monkey is in the jungle.
Wow, great job, Rattenborough. Our next word is savanna. A savanna is a large, flat area of land with a lot of grass and a few trees. Savannas are commonly found in Africa and South America.
Rattenborough, could you give us a sentence using both words habitat and savanna? Let me think. Oh, I've got it. A savanna is the natural habitat of a giraffe.
Wow, great job, Rattenborough. That was an awesome sentence, and you used both words correctly. Our next word is herbivore. A herbivore is an animal that only eats plants.
So herbivores would eat things like fruits and vegetables, like tomatoes or bananas. Oh, I have a great sentence for herbivore. Cows are herbivores because they only eat grass and other plants. Great job, Sylvia!
You guys are doing a really great job with these vocabulary words. Our next word is carnivore. A carnivore is an animal that mainly eats meat.
Meat could be things like beef, chicken, or even fish. Rattenborough, can you think of an animal that is a carnivore? How about a T-Rex? They only ate other dinosaurs, so they would be considered carnivores. That's a great example.
Our last word is omnivore. An omnivore is an animal that eats both plants and meat.
Rattenborough, can you think of an animal that eats both plants and meat? What about bears? Bears eat berries and twigs, which are plants, but they can also eat small animals, which are meat. So, bears are omnivores since they eat both plants and meat. I would be an omnivore too, because I love to eat fruit and vegetables, which are plants, but I also love to eat hamburgers, which have meat.
Wow, you guys did a great job today with the vocabulary words. Boys and girls, let's read them one more time together. I will read the words, and you echo it back to me. Animal, habitat, savanna, herbivore, carnivore, omnivore.
Now that we have discussed our vocabulary words, can I read today's story and tell the viewers all about my travels? Yes, Rattenborough, we would love to hear your story. Alrighty, I love to read. Let's get started. Greetings, Rattenborough, the famous explorer and animal expert here. Remember me? I taught you all about animals and habitats when you were just little kids in first grade. I've been busy since then traveling around the world, but I'm back now to teach you everything I've learned about animals during my travels. First, let's take a quick look at what you learned in first grade. Do you remember what a habitat is? A habitat is the place where animals and plants live. We learned that there are different habitats all over the world with different kinds of animals and plants living there. We visited a desert habitat where it was very hot and dry. It hardly ever rains in a desert, so the plants and animals that live there have to be able to get by with very little water. I bet you remember that cactus plants live in the desert along with snakes and lizards. We also visited an African savanna. A savanna is also called a grassland. There were lots of interesting animals living there. Zebras, elephants, and even lions. To be perfectly honest, I was always a little nervous while we were in the savanna. Next, we checked out some different kinds of forests. We went to a hardwood forest full of trees with leaves that change color and drop off in the fall. We saw squirrels, deer, and even bears. We saw lots of different kinds of birds in those tall trees. Then we visited a tropical rainforest that was very hot and humid and wet. There were lots of birds in this forest too. These birds were colorful tropical birds like toucans and parrots. Last but not least, we visited freshwater and saltwater habitats. In the freshwater habitat, we saw a fish, turtles, ducks, and beavers. In the saltwater habitat of the sea, we saw starfish, crabs, lobsters, and sharks. Besides learning about habitats in first grade, we also studied the different kinds of things that animals eat. Do you remember talking about herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores? learned that you can sort animals by what they eat. So get ready because we are going to learn a lot more about how to sort animals. Rattenborough, your personal animal expert, at your service. See you next time. Wow, Rattenborough, you've traveled to some really cool habitats.
I agree. Those are some pretty awesome habitats to visit. I also heard you mention several different animals that you encountered. When we discussed today's vocabulary words, we learned about carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores.
That's right. I remember, boys and girls, that we learned a carnivore eats mainly meat, a herbivore eats plants, and an omnivore eats both plants and animals. I have an idea. Let's sort some of the animals I saw while traveling. We can sort them by whether they are carnivores, herbivores, or omnivores. That sounds like fun.
Let's get started. The first animal you mentioned was a snake. Would a snake be a carnivore, a herbivore, or an omnivore?
Well, I know that snakes eat mice and other small animals. Snakes do not eat plants, so they must be carnivores. Correct! Snakes are carnivores because they eat only meat.
Great job! I'm going to place the word snakes on our chart under the carnivore column. Let's keep going. The second animal you mentioned in your story was a zebra. Where would we put the word zebras?
I know that zebras live on savannas or grasslands. Zebras only eat grass and leaves, so a zebra would be a herbivore. That's correct. Zebras do not eat meat. Instead, they eat grass and other plants on the savanna. So we can place the word zebras under the column for herbivores on our chart.
Rattenborough, I remember in your story that when you saw lions on the savanna too. Where would we place the word lions on our chart?
I know that lions eat other animals such as zebras and water buffalo. Lions do not eat grass like zebras do. Instead, lions eat meat. So lions would be carnivores. Is that correct, Rattenborough? Yes, that's correct. Lions are carnivores because they only eat meat. Elisa, can you place the word lions under our chart, under the column for carnivores? Rattenborough, when you visited the forest habitat, you saw squirrels, deer, and bears. Let's sort those animals onto our chart. Elisa, do you know what a squirrel would be?
Well, I know that squirrels eat nuts and berries. They don't eat other animals, so a squirrel would be a herbivore because herbivores only eat plants.
Great job, Elisa. That is correct. Elisa, what about deer? What do deer eat?
Well, I read a story about deer in the library last week. Deer eat grass and other plants. Since they eat only plants, deer would be considered herbivores.
That's right, Elisa. Since deer do not eat meat, but instead eat only plants, they are herbivores. Let's place the word deer under the column for herbivores on our chart. Rattenborough, what was the largest animal you saw on your travels? I saw an elephant on the savannah. They are like giants compared to me.
I wonder where we could place the word elephants. Boys and girls at home, where do you think we should place the word elephants? Tell someone watching with you your answer.
I know that elephants eat grass, shrubs, and leaves. Elephants do not eat meat, so they wouldn't be a carnivore or an omnivore. I think elephants are herbivores.
Rattenborough, do you agree with Sylvia's answer?
Absolutely. Elephants are herbivores.
Let's think about some of the animals that Rattenborough saw in the water habitats. I remember that when you visited the freshwater habitat, you saw a beaver.
I read an informational text about beavers just last week. It was talking about how they build dams using small trees that they cut down with their sharp teeth. Imagine being able to cut down a tree with your teeth. Believe it or not, ladies, rats are known for having sharp teeth. We have even been known to chew through metal.
Oh, wow. You must have really sharp teeth.
So I know that beavers eat tree bark, roots, leaves, and wetland plants. That means they are herbivores, just like elephants.
Awesome job. Let's place the word beavers under the herbivore column. Now, let's talk about an animal that Rattenborough saw when he visited the saltwater habitat. I remember that he said he saw a shark.
Rattenborough, were you scared when you saw the sharks? You better believe I was scared. I was shaking in my scuba gear.
I wonder where we would place the word shark on our chart. Boys and girls, where would you place the word sharks? Tell your answer to someone watching with you.
If you said carnivore, you are correct. Sharks eat other fish and aquatic animals, which would be meat. They do not eat plants, fruits, or vegetables, so sharks would be carnivores.
We are doing a great job sorting these animals. We only have one animal left to sort. Rattenborough, can you help us with our last word? Where would we place the word bears on our chart?
Sure, I'd love to help. Bears eat berries and other plants. However, they also eat meat from small animals. Since they eat both meat and plants, bears are omnivores. Remember, omnivores are animals that eat both plants and animals.
Great job, Rattenborough. That's correct.
I love learning about animals and their different habitats. It's also fun to decide which animals are carnivores, which are herbivores, and which are omnivores.
Let's review what we have learned today. First, we learned some really great vocabulary words like habitat. Boys and girls, do you remember the meaning of the word habitat? Tell someone near you your answer.
Great job, boys and girls. A habitat is a place where animals and plants live and grow. Rattenborough, you visited so many different habitats on your travels, like the desert, the savanna, forests, rainforests, and even freshwater and saltwater habitats. So, which was your favorite habitat to visit? My favorite habitat was the rainforest.
That would be mine too. What about you, boys and girls? Which habitat is your favorite? I bet you answered with some really cool habitats. We also learned about carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores. A carnivore is an animal that only eats meat. A herbivore is an animal that only eats plants. An omnivore is an animal that eats both plants and meat.
Wow, we sure did learn a lot about animals today. Let's do a fun quiz just to see how much we have learned about animals.
That sounds great. How about you guys ask me a question and I'll see if I get the correct answer.
That sounds great. Let's do it. All right, let's start with some of our vocabulary words. Elisa, I'll give you a definition and you see if you can give us the correct vocabulary word. Oh, this is going to be fun. Elisa, what vocabulary word describes a place where living things grow and live?
Oh, I've got it. A habitat. A habitat is a place where animals live and grow.
Can you give us an example of a habitat that we discussed today?
Sure. A desert is a very hot and dry habitat where camels can be found.
Great job. Let's try another vocabulary word. Which word refers to a large, flat grassland that has few trees?
That would be a savanna.
That's correct, Elisa. Boys and girls, can you try one? Which vocabulary word refers to a living thing that is not a plant? Tell someone watching with you your answer.
If you said animal, you are correct.
Now let's try something a little different. I'm going to give a statement and you tell me if it's true or false. So Elisa, you can give a thumbs up if it's true and a thumbs down if the statement is false.
That sounds great. Boys and girls, will you help me answer the questions?
So here we go. Here's our statement. A herbivore eats only plants. Boys and girls, give a thumbs up or a thumbs down if this statement is true or false. Okay, Elisa, what do you think?
I think that's correct because I know that herbivores only eat plants.
Great job! A herbivore, like a cow, eats only plants. I've had fun learning all about animals, their habitats, and sorting them based on their diet. Thank you, Rattenborough, for sharing with us all about your travels.
Yes, thank you, Rattenborough. It was fun hearing of all the places you traveled and of the different animals you encountered.
You're most welcome. I cannot wait to continue talking about animals in our next lesson.
Me too.
Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you've had fun learning about animal habitats and helping us classify animals based on their diet. We look forward to seeing you again next time.
All rights and credits for today's lesson belong to Core Knowledge Language Arts. We would like to thank them for publicly sharing these valuable resources. The views and opinions expressed in this lesson are those of the Core Knowledge authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Mississippi Department of Education. Thank you for joining us, boys and girls. We will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Thank you.